All right. Well, it's another episode of Movies and Minutes with your host, your friendly neighborhood comic book dude. And this week, I got a YouTube vet for our 10th episode. It's G Lamb, Pack Cracker, Card Stacker. Right? You're more than welcome to use that if you want to.
I definitely am going to. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, gave you three movies to talk about with me this week. Before we get into that, let's get some background on you, my good man. What type of movies do you like?
I am a big Tarantino guy. Not so much Reservoir Dogs, but Pulp Fiction was great. Kill Bill, anything like the whole
There's
Japanese
there's
aesthetic.
one more. If you say it, I'll love you forever.
Jackie Brown,
Yes.
so good.
Yes. All right.
Hateful, I saw that in theaters. It was
It was
Once Upon
okay.
a Time in Hollywood. I thought that was really good.
Once Upon a
Um,
Time was really good. Yep.
I
The
like,
only problem for me when I saw that it was the AC was broken at Marquee. So and that movie was like almost 3 hours. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yep.
I like anime movies. I
Okay. Yeah.
I usually will watch the same movie, like if I really like it, rather than finding new
Mhm.
movies, I'll just rewatch the same movies like 100 times. I can quote Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Murder on the
Mm.
Orient Express, uh, stuff like that. I can
Princess
do.
Mononoke.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I need to rewatch
Mhm.
that one. I just saw Porco Rosso
I've never
last
seen
week.
that one. I
That
am
was really
slowly
good.
chopping away at the like Ghibli backlog of like ones that I never saw before. Um, what's that other one that's also like an in the air one? That one I've seen like Rising
Uh,
Wind or Wind Rises.
yeah, something like that. I know which one
The
you're
one where
talking about.
the one where the guy like goes to like school to like design airplanes
I
and
think his
then
wife
like
dies or something. I don't think that's
at
a
some
spoiler. I
point,
think that's a thing. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. Tragic
Mm.
anime stuff. But Porco Rosso, really good. Michael Keaton is a pig man and he flies an airplane. And if that
Michael
doesn't tell
Keaton.
you, I don't know what you're looking for in cinema.
I'm looking for Billy Bob Thornton to be a mischievous monk. Oh wait, we got that in Mononoke.
Perfect. Was he in that? Oh
Yeah,
man. I
yeah, he
was
was
I
a
was a teenager when I saw that last. So that was some time. It's due
yeah.
for a
When they
rewatch.
when they dubbed it, they got him in it, and he's like going around and being like a devious monk, playing everybody against each other, just trying to get some gold. So,
I love it.
but yeah. So, we had three very distinctly different movies for you this week. Sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes they're like they clump together. I forgot to ask you, and I ran into this problem with somebody before, and I definitely should have asked you, which is more on me than you. You have not seen any of these movies, correct?
I have not seen any of these movies.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you'd slipped in there and caught one of them this weekend, but by that admission, I know you have not. So, but we're gonna save that one for last because it'll be the most fun to talk about. Um, the first one I sent you, I believe, was Hypnotic.
Yes.
All right. So, Hypnotic. What do you think that was about? What did that trailer do for you?
It definitely got me interested. I don't know if it was a movie per se that I would go to the theater to see, like on my own.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody invited me to go, I definitely would be willing to go see it. It comes out the 12th. I like Ben
Mm-hmm.
Affleck a lot. I think he's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for any kind of like cabal nonsense. And it looks like we
Mm-hmm.
got some secret, shady government stuff going on there. I think the
Mm-hmm.
mind control is interesting because that's such a powerful capability, right? So a lot
Right.
of stuff you can kind of predict. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
he's a super strong bank robber or he's a super fast bank robber. It's like, how are they going to stop him? But like mind control is pretty legit. Like that's pretty, I say the thing, you do the thing, okay.
Yeah.
So I usually with movies like this, you can kind of piece together what's going to happen, but I have no idea what's going to happen in Hypnotic. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
makes it really, really interesting and worth checking out.
Did it give you any sort of like mysterious vibes or things where maybe it didn't seem exactly what it laid itself out to be?
I feel like there wasn't anything specific that gave me that vibe that I could pinpoint, but it definitely
Right.
feels like it's one of those. What's the? Oh my god, the Dream movie, Inception. It feels like it could
Perfect.
be
Perfect.
like up that alley.
it is definitely up that alley. So big name attached to this one besides Ben Affleck is Robert Rodriguez. I don't know if you've ever seen any Robert Rodriguez movies, like Dusk Till Dawn or Once Upon a Time in Mexico or like anything like that.
They sound good, but I have not.
No. So Robert Rodriguez, like Tarantino, is like a famous kind of cult movie director. Um, and on paper, this movie is basically supposed to be very Inception-y. Like um, there's people with the mental abilities. They can tell people what to do. They're called hypnotics. And Ben Affleck, his character in the movie, he's a cop, and his daughter gets kidnapped, and somehow there's sort of like a intertwining between his daughter's kidnapped and hypnotics may or may not be involved. Um, the movie takes several really hard like lefts because it is very Inception-y. And I don't want to give too much away in case you do get around to seeing it at some point, but it's definitely like there's some stuff that you don't expect to happen and then it does and you're like, oh, all right, well, thanks for the mind fuck. The only difference so you mentioned Inception. Did you watch Inception?
I have not seen Inception. I know a good bit about it, but
Okay. So Inception takes that paper concept and really achieves that well by like, being like making you second guess and you know what I mean? Like you're never quite sure, what's real and what's not, but it does it in a good way. And the only thing I'll say about this, not to discourage you or anybody, but it feels like the idea on paper is a lot better than what you get in the execution.
that's fair.
And I mean, all I'll say is, so I caught this one. They do these screenings sometimes for movies early, and I happened to get in on one for this one, and I saw this Monday, like last Monday, and it's cool. And Robert Rodriguez said in the screening like that it's a raw cut, so maybe there'll be changes when it hits. Hopefully there are, and then like my review for this will be like rendered null and void. But yeah, maybe give it a shot and then let me know if it's really good. Shit, maybe I'll have to see it again if they when they actually put out the real version.
Yeah, see what the changes are.
Yeah. I want to say things, but I don't want to spoil too much. It's hard because there's some stuff they reveal that you're like you maybe you'll start watching and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I could imagine that. And then other stuff you're like, why did you do that? So you did tell me that's not something that you think you would go to the theater to see. Do you think that you would watch it still?
I would definitely watch it. And if somebody, asked me like, hey, I'm going to go see Hypnotic Friday. Like, do you want to come? Like, yeah, I'll go. But yeah. I don't think, like, if I don't get to see it in theaters, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it. I don't feel that way about all three movies, honestly. I know that's probably sacrilegious for the third movie, but
that one has the most to lose watching at home because there's a lot of really going on visually that like the small screen just can't compare to. But yeah, obviously sooner or later people watch movies at home and it happens. I would agree in the case of this one. Nothing a lot of what's going on with this movie is like character development and in your head stuff, which you don't need a giant screen for.
Yeah.
And boy, I'm gonna feel bad sharing my number on this one. So out of a 5-point scale on this, I gave this one a 2.5.
No, you give everything a 4.
And then there was this. Right? 2.5. So that was Hypnotic. Number 2. What was number 2? Oh, number 2 was the one I saw last night. Love Again.
Love Again.
So what did this one do for you? What did this trailer say to you?
So I started the trailer and immediately I was like, nope, not interested. I have no desire to see a romance movie. Like, get out of here, right?
That's okay.
I'm like, I want to see it, right? So I'm like, okay, what is it gonna like? Is there something here that's gonna draw me in?
Yeah.
Celine Dion, take it or leave it. I'm interested to see what role she plays because she's herself. So like, what is she doing? You know what I mean? Like, she's like a book tour. Is she doing like counseling, whatever? I don't know. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It gives me very shop around the corner vibes, like a modern day kind of thing with that.
That's an interesting take. I like that.
This is up there with Hypnotic. I would see Hypnotic before I see Love Again, but this is also like my girlfriend wanted to go see it. I'd go see it with her. If you wanted to go see it with me, I'd go see it with you. The scene where she's in the car with Nick Jonas.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can we slow down?" And he just moves and slow down. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was dying laughing, like out loud dying laughing.
Now, do you know that they're married?
I did not know that. That makes it 10 times funnier.
Yeah, it very much does. So that's that is Nick Jonas's wife.
The cast of Always Sunny is like half of them are all married to each other. So like it's so funny when they do like when they bicker and things on the show.
If I ever found out that Dennis and Dee were married, I'd feel some kind of way about it, like because they're brother and sister on the show.
Yeah, that'd be a weird take.
Isn't she married to oh, don't tell me, Mac?
Yeah. And Charlie's married to the waitress.
Yeah, that one I knew. That's always been funny.
I don't think Dennis or Danny DeVito are married to anybody on the show.
No, Danny DeVito's married to Rhea Perlman, and I don't know if Dennis has anybody. But
he should try the Dennis system. Maybe he'll find somebody.
Oh boy, the Dennis system is controversial. We might have to save that for a separate podcast.
Oh boy.
So, all right. What I understand your impression. Where do you think the film goes? Like, just like story wise, like what did you glean from it?
I feel like they're gonna date and he's gonna keep it a secret for too long, and then she's gonna find out, and then it's gonna be the classic like, oh my god, how did you not tell me? And then whatever, and then they get back together, and then it's a happy ending. That's the vibe. It's like the cookie cutter, like embarrassing secret, for lack of a better term, that that sparks it.
It's for sure a well-known trope. Here's the thing, and I did my handwritten review for this after I watched this movie last night. Romance movies are very, very genre specific. You never see a romance movie up for like an award. They're never really doing anything like too crazy groundbreaking. Like if you're going to watch a movie like this, you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So like to expect like a 5-star, like, oh my god, this is so different than anything I've ever seen romance wise, is probably too high expectations.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect something crazy from this movie. Yeah. Like it's going to be what it is, and it's going to be probably fine at doing that thing, but that's what it's going to do.
And you're 100% right. Like if I walked into that movie thinking last night that I was going to see a typical rom-com, which probably hits at about a 3, that's what I got, and I knew what I was getting, and it did the thing, right? So just a little bit of background. The main character in the story, I believe her name was Rhea. Rhea loses her actual like fiance. Well, actually, he wasn't even her fiance, but her man, unexpectedly. She goes like 2 years like kind of in isolation, and then when she is really trying to move past him, she starts texting his old number for like solace. And our guy, I believe his name is Rob in the movie, gets a new work phone handed to him, and guess what? It's been 2 years. This number's back in circulation. So he starts getting all her texts, and like he's kind of like starts to fall in love with somebody through all these messages, but he can't respond. Like he can't say anything, or else she'll stop texting and she'll realize like some creeps read all her messages. So he uses some information that he gleans from her messages and kind of creates a chance encounter. And then they actually date and fall in love for real. And you're not wrong. Like, there's a moment, where like, oh shit, I'm looking, you left your laptop open and I see all my messages that I sent, like attached to your work computer. And there's the thing. Celine Dion, Celine Dion is in the movie because the main guy is a music critic for the New York Chronicle. I don't even know if that's a real paper or was fictitious for the movie, but he like has to write a thing for her, and they keep hanging out. So she's sort of like his love guide,
Okay.
and she's really good like at that. Like um she turns the cynic in him into like a believer again, because he has his own reasons for why he's not with anybody, which you find
Do
out
they
when you're
delve into
watching.
that?
What's that?
Do they delve into his tragic backstory?
Yeah, I mean his isn't as tragic. I mean there's some love and loss and that sort of thing, but it's not like a death the way it is for the girl. Um, and there's a lot of Celine Dion music, which if you like that, it's good. I
Right.
mean, some of her songs are iconic, like if you touch me like this and you kiss me like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was stuck in my head all freaking night. Yeah. So,
Good.
um, she's funny though. I don't like you said, I could kind of take her or leave her. She injects a lot of her own like real life love into her guidance of them, and I think there's a funny part in the trailer where like she calls her and she doesn't believe that it's her.
And then she sings, and she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Queen, what's up?"
Oh my God. Hi. So, and there's a whole sequence with that too. So that's cool. Um, so so the takeaway though is that you would watch this if the girlfriend wanted to, or if somebody else asked you, but like you're not getting a driving force yourself to go see Love Again.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I mean I can totally get behind that.
That is
Um
usually my impression on, I would say probably most movies. I either, I'll see it on my own or I'll see it with somebody else if they want to, unless it's something that like I know I won't go see. Um,
let me ask you this. What was the last movie that gave you that driving force on your own that you wanted to go see it? That you were the one asking other people, "Hey, you want to go?"
the most recent Demon Slayer movie.
Okay. Okay.
I actually kind of regret going to.
What was that?
I kind of regret going to it. It was
Really?
fine. It was, I don't know if you've seen it, but it
I
was
haven't. I mean, but
it was
I understand that it's like a culmination of like one of the stories from the show, right?
it's the last two episodes of the last season, and then it was
Mhm.
like the first episode or two episodes of the new season that's airing. So it's like not really any new content. It was a little bit of new
Okay.
content, but it's not anything that wasn't just going to be visible to us like a month
On
later.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
mean,
so
it was
they
cool
like
to see it early. It was cool to see it on the big screen. But I
yeah.
mean, they kept like the credits for each episode in. Like it really felt like they were just playing
You
multiple
just stitched
episodes.
together like four episodes and
Yeah.
put it on a movie.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
that's
a
weird.
CD for
Huh.
like a box set. You just throw it in.
Huh.
But
I was
it
gonna
was
say I thought the way you were describing it at first, it kind of reminded me of like a lot of the more recent Dragon Ball movies where they ended up like adapting them into episodes of Super.
they did that with the Mugen Train movie, and I thought that movie was amazing. I didn't
Yeah.
watch those episodes just because there wasn't really any
Mhm.
new content, but I
Right.
like that. I something as a kid that like really bothered me, and it doesn't bother me as
Mhm.
much as an adult, but like when,
Right.
especially like an anime will have movies, and then it's
Yeah.
like they're not canon, or they are canon, and then it's like, well, where do they fit in the
Right.
timeline?
Right. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
where, you know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
fact that they did that so clean cut, like here's season
Mhm.
one, here's Mugen Train, here's season two, let's go. Like I love that. It was a great movie. I cried buckets. It just the
Oh,
so good. Did you see it?
I didn't.
Okay. Have you seen Demon Slayer?
I have.
Okay. Super good.
I didn't watch the movie though. So like now I kind of think I don't need to because I saw
Well, if you
those
saw,
episodes.
yeah, if you saw season two, you don't need to see the movie, but
Right.
I mean, it was so cool, and to see it in the big screen, like
Yeah.
those, UFO table does a great
Mhm.
job, and to see that
Yeah.
in the big screen, um, was just awesome.
Not to go too much off on a tangent here, but we're on the rabbit hole, so I might as well touch on it anyway. I think for me, anime movies kind of like fall under like one of three categories for them to be like really decent. you're either like a standalone thing that's just like really good, like a Suzume or like a, you know, I don't know, like a Weathering with You, like things like that, where you really don't need anything to go with them. You've got the things that are related to the shows, but they are canon. So like I saw like whatever last year they had the quintuplets movie was like the culmination of that show. So it was all new content. It wasn't just like
Okay.
repackaged episodes like what you're describing Demon Slayer as. Or when they create movies with their own canon, but it's continuous, kind of like the new Dragon Ball movies. Like the way you watch like Revenge or Resurrection into like, you know, Brawly into, you know, Super Saiyan, you know, like those have a canon that you really don't have to like know anything else about Dragon Ball Super to watch.
Right. Like they're kind of contained,
Yeah.
but you know, they're still part of a like a bigger thing.
Right. Like you still need to understand that like in the show at some point Vegeta marries Bulma, or like that they got Boo to be their friend, or whatever other things like carried on from Z, or that Boo can like turn people into cookies but apparently not gods. You know, it's a thing. So the last movie for us today, I don't think will be a shock to anybody when they see the date stamp for, you know, we're talking about movies that came out this week. Guardians of the Galaxy, number Trey, volume tree. Um, Question one before we get to the trailer: have you seen one and two?
I have seen 1 and 2.
Okay, all right. So on that premise alone, even without the trailer, was this something that you think you'd watch?
Without the
Because you've
trailer,
seen because you've seen one and two. I'm kind of more asking based on like any past investment.
I have not seen a single Marvel movie since Endgame.
Pretty good
I was
movie.
hardcore, like day one, you know, day zero, going to the movies for all the MCU movies. Like, you know, it was 10 years. It was so cool to see everything come together. And then Endgame, I cried buckets. I felt this massive just yoke fall off me, right? Of just 10 years of buildup. And I loved it and I thought it was great. But
Uh-huh.
I was like, all right, now there's miniseries, now there's other movies coming out, there's more waves, and it's just like
Sure.
I can't keep up. I'm tired. I'm hanging up the boots. So I haven't done anything Marvel. I know I should probably watch the Spider-Man. I know I got to see Doctor Strange. I heard that one was good. And
Mhm.
like, you know, if anybody's still on the Marvel train, like more power to them. Like I'm more impressed than anything.
Mhm.
The Guardians one did not hit me when I first saw it.
Mhm.
Something about space always just puts me to sleep. I gotta
I
kind of
I I love you for saying that because I am also not a space guy. Like I, as a rule, like it doesn't do it for me either. Like, you know, if
yeah.
you give me horror movies like aliens in space, or you give me like Friday the 13th, I'm like, give me the cabin, give me the lake. I don't give a shit about the endless infinity.
It's just
Please continue.
stars. And
Yeah.
like I just for like it just like that and like deserts just never did it for me as a kid.
Yeah.
I got a little older and I like rewatched it and I was kind of more awake and there was more stuff going on and it was funny. You know,
Hmm.
they definitely feel like a family. It's not, you know,
Hmm.
the Iron Man show featuring Iron Man. It's not the Captain
Hmm.
America show featuring Captain America. It's the Guardians. There's all of them.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
like Drax, like,
Hmm.
you know, like made me fall in love with Dave Bautista. I like I'll see anything he's in. But
That's what he says to Star Lord at one point.
it's just he's so funny.
Yeah.
So and then Guardians 2 came out and I like that one a lot. You know,
Hmm.
super emotional with Yondu and everything. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. And like
Boy,
I love that line.
boy, I only kept you because you had small hands. You could crawl in between the spaces.
And it was cool to see them like when Infinity War kind of wove them into the rest of like, okay, these are serious guys, these are superheroes, and they're doing stuff. And the Guardians are just like, you know, they're the hoodlums. They're the kids that sat in the back of the school bus, and
They're the guys playing. They're the guys playing Magic at MV.
yeah, literally. And it just, I loved it. I thought they were great. Definitely one of the better Marvel movies.
Hmm.
based on the trailer, I almost think I don't want to see it. I just feel like it's going to be very emotional.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, it's not that I don't want to see it because I think it's going to be a bad movie. I think it's going to be a really good movie. And I think it's going to make me feel things that I just don't want to feel. I don't want to see Sad Rocket. I don't want to see other animals. I assume somebody's going to die. I don't want to see that. I just, like, you know, and again, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. But, like, I probably will willfully not see it. But that is not because I don't think it's going to be a good movie. I just don't think it's going to be a good for my mental health movie.
I'm going to go with you and hold your hand.
Okay. Well, now I'll go see it.
Okay. So I'll only talk about it briefly because I don't want to spoil it for you. But Guardians 3, I think a lot of people in the theater that I saw it with kind of were very happy with it because as a Marvel shill, I will take all the content they want to throw at me, but I understand the fatigue. I understand when you're like phase 4 comes along and you're like, what do I watch? There's too many things, sensory overload. Yeah. I get it. I get it and I respect that. Guardians 3, it wants the people like you to watch it because it doesn't ask you for any more than what you've already committed to. It doesn't say like it brings up the stuff from Endgame, but it's not like beating you over the head. It tells you it mentions what it needs to mention, right? It doesn't say, hey, go watch Thor 4 because the Guardians were in it. It makes no mention of it. I mean, I'm sure it like happened and then they just were like, we don't need to talk about it. Thor 4? They were.
Oh, neat. I got to see that one too.
Yeah. So James Gunn was doing filming. So he filmed the parts of the scenes of Thor 4 where the Guardians were, and then they filmed Guardians 3 at the same time.
Okay.
So they're, it's not like huge. They're in it for like the first 10 minutes, and then I think you see them on like computer screens later in the movie. It's not like a, they play a part, but like it's a Thor movie.
Right.
So, but yes, there is sadness. Somebody gets hurt and there's sort of like a race to save them. That person is Rocket. And we get his backstory kind of interwoven into the rest of the team's attempts to get him to where they need to get him to do what they need to do. There's multiple threats. They do kind of try to tie up any loose ends that they had from maybe any previous movies, but really at its core, it's a Guardian story. And like a Marvel purist might be sitting here going like, darn, they didn't include anything for like future films, right? Like they didn't give you it's part of phase 5 or 4 or whatever. And it's not doing stuff that the other phase 5 movies to like advance the multiversal threat. Guess what? That's why everybody loved it. I think we all loved phase 1 a ton because you didn't have like a Thanos thing around every corner. They like teased him once and you kind of slowly figure out like, hey, this guy might be important eventually.
Right.
And then as the later phases came along, it became a lot heavier. They're like, okay, well, we're in this stage of the game and all the post-credit scenes you're going to see are all related to this. And they didn't do that. They also include, I'm going to spoil this, but not what he does or who he is or anything. Are you a Nathan Fillion fan by any means?
Yeah. I don't love him, but like, no, I think he's cool. I liked him in, I know he was in, what is it? The Rookie, Castle, Firefly. Yep. He did that one bit in Rick and Morty.
Yes. So we get comedic Nathan Fillion in this movie for a solid like 10 minutes, and it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
I know what's his name? Adam Warlock's in it, right? I don't know anything about him, but I know that he was, what is it, a post-credit scene for
Guardians 2.
Okay.
Yep, he's in it. His mom is in it. His mom's creator is in it. So there's a lot of layers there. There is sad. I don't really want to speak to any sort of loss,
Okay.
because loss is a subjective term. So to say that
Yeah.
there's a lot of loss, or to say that there's not that much loss, or you know what I mean, that it's kind of open to interpretation.
And they can kind of, I mean, they can kind of play with it, right? I mean, the whole Gamora thing, like,
She's in the film.
right? She's in the film. She die, yes. She in the film, yes. Like,
She
you
is
know,
24. She's 2014 Gamora. So, um, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah. I saw
like,
there was a clip with her and like Nebula, and they're like
and
going back and forth, and I think that's fun. I think Karen does a great job as Nebula. Like
yeah,
she's great.
yeah,
I love Mantis. Like they're all just so doofy and so fun, and like it's
yeah.
not just the same character, you know,
Hmm.
6, 7 times, but like
Hmm.
they all have that same level of fun, but
Hmm.
it's like in different ways. You know what I mean? They're all
Right.
just great. And like I can't picture the Guardians
Hmm.
without like them. It's like the perfect. I wouldn't want 2 Star-Lords. I wouldn't want 2 Rockets. I wouldn't want 2 Draxes. I like. It's like they
Hmm.
all have their own role. They all come together nicely. They're just
That's a really good way to put it. Um, they're not the Avengers. They are the Guardians.
right.
They protect.
And
They
yeah,
don't wait for something to happen and then do something about it.
but
Um,
they're prettier and
mm, yeah.
more. They're like the Avengers are Pokemon and the Guardians are Digimon. It's like
I want to say things, but
not in terms of like, oh, this Caesar's better. It's like Pokemon kind of had that like good guy, wholesome, overarching kind of rules they have to follow. And Digimon is much looser with that.
I would maybe, if we're gonna go with that comparison, I would say that Pokemon is the mainstay, like it'll always kind of be there, but Digimon is the edgy brother that, like, they pop up every once in a while and you're happy when they do.
Right. And that's, like that's Guardians.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm serious though. If I agree to go with you, or if we could even get a couple people, would you go see it?
Well, we'd have to do another episode to talk about my feelings on it.
That's a possibility. I mean, I've yet to do a follow up with anybody, so that could be a
Yeah. We're gonna
special
have
event.
DLM as your first follow-up.
Mm,
You'll love to see it, boys.
yeah, I love to watch you leave,
Hate to see you go. Love to watch you leave.
running back and forth like a soccer team. I got lines for days.
Like Scarface.
Right. So viewers, Grant may or may not be convinced to go see this one. We don't know yet, but I may have an update for you on a future episode.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball
Dragon
Z.
Ball Z. As I mentioned at the start, Grant has his own channel. Grant, you want to shamelessly plug for a moment here? Tell people what it is you do in your corner of the tube.
I am GLAM on YouTube. I do a ton of different trading card stuff for even different card games. I just put up a Yu-Gi-Oh short for Cinco de Mayo, for Synchro de Mayo. I
I
got
saw.
Yu-Gi-Oh stuff up there. I got some Digimon stuff up there. I got some Pokemon stuff up there. I just went out today and picked up a bunch of Pokemon products that came out. They had like, I don't know, 100 things dropping on the 5th. It was crazy. So
Do
I
they
got
not
those.
understand that this is Star Wars week? What are they doing?
I don't know. I'm looking at all these products that are coming up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that comes out on the 5th. Cool. Oh, this one comes out on the 5th. Okay, this one. Okay, they're all it's just the whole year's worth of releases, May 5th. But
Yeah.
I got those. We got some shorts coming up. We got some videos coming up. I've got some other work on some other secret projects that'll be coming up that I will be talking about on my channel. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, lots of cool things coming down the pipeline.
Well, then we will, like I mentioned to you, we were going to drop the link for your channel in the description for this episode. So if you guys want to check out any of his content, you should definitely do that. Like, comment, subscribe him, me, whoever. Point your friends
Feed the hungry
in
algorithm. It's hungry and it
yeah,
wants your comments.
yeah, feed the algorithm. But I've had nothing but a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
had a
that you
great
could
time.
be
Thanks so much
on.
for having me.
Of course. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, you guys know what to do. We'll catch you next time in Movies and Minutes. I've been your host, your friendly neighborhood comic book dude.